Hey, Jonathan here. Just wanted to answer a question that I got from a lovely young woman a few days ago. I'm going to read it to you. She says, I have a successful career, but I'm not passionate about my work. I feel like something is missing. I would love to start my own passion-focused business, but have a lot of fear, doubt, overwhelm, and not sure where to start. And there's a young woman, I think she's in North America and in her late 20s, early 30s, but a lot of people at different stages of their lives deal with this very situation of being in a job, right? Maybe it's a good job, maybe it pays the bills and takes care of everything, and maybe even you like the people there. Maybe it's a good situation, but it's not your passion. So my dear, you are not the first to deal with this, of course. I just want to validate that I think that every person since the beginning of time has struggled to balance the things you need to do for survival versus the things that you do because your soul is calling you. And I think it's one of life's fundamental, like really fundamental balances and issues that we face, especially in our Western culture where we have choice, we have opportunity, and more than that, we have a culture that, at least at this day and age, is teaching us that our passion is really important, which I think is a great shift compared to, decades ago where you just did what you did because you were supposed to do what you were supposed to do. And I think we're in a great place where people believe that they are able to, fundamentally allowed to, follow their dreams. And I want to say yay to that, and I want to encourage you, and I'm going to totally address your problems, and I'm going to tell you where to start. So if you're having this issue where you want to shift the work that you do in the world for money to work that you do in the world for money and meaning, then well, there's two things you probably need to do first. One, really define what it is that you want to do for meaning, and not everybody can do that right away. A lot of us have ideas about the things that it would be nice to do for meaning. The things that really call us from our soul, our inner voice is calling us to do and express in the world. So maybe it's art. Just use art for example. And maybe you know it's art, but maybe you don't know what you're going to do in the world with that art, right? So there's so many different things you can do with art, right? You can open up one of those art cafes where people come and have art classes and drink wine, or you can teach art to little kids, you can teach art to grown-ups, you can teach art in college, you can be an artist, you can be a muralist, you can be a portraitist. It's probably not a word, portraitist, but I like it. I'm not like a visual artist, so I don't know exactly, but I'm sure there's like a million other things that you can do. Same with any other thing that you're passionate about. There are so many places where you can focus on. And I want you to, first thing that you do is to define maybe a list of 10 things where you can to use some marketing lingo, niche down, but really go as narrow as possible in your list. So if you're an artist, go back to that example, then, I want to teach art, but okay, I want to teach art to who? Okay, I want to teach art to little kids. Okay, do you want to teach art to little kids in school? Or do you want to teach art to little kids privately? Do you want to teach in small groups? Do you want to do ceramic? Do you want to do painting? Like really as specific as possible. And I want to make a list of 5 to 10 of those things that are as specific as possible, possibilities that you would enjoy doing in your life, that would bring you meaning and would potentially bring you income if you did it correctly. And that's your first step, really understanding the really narrow places that you can go to do this work that can bring you meaning. And of course the second thing is addressing the fear and the doubt and the overwhelm. And so the overwhelm, first of all, I'll address all three. So the overwhelm really usually comes from not knowing what to do And in a sense, that's an easy one, right? So I gave you the first step, which is really narrowly defining at least several things, 5 to 10 things that you know would bring you meaning within your passion. And so that's a place to start. Now from there are a lot of practical steps that you can start to do. I'm going to give you a general overview of what to do, because of course I can't teach a whole course on marketing and business right now in this short video, but I'm going to give you a list of general things and then some resources about how to learn about those things. So the second thing you need to do once you have that list is market research, which means that you need to find out if in your area, your neighborhood, or maybe you want to teach online. So online, you want to know if people want what you have to offer and if they're willing to pay for it. So sometimes people want what's being offered, but they're not willing to pay for it because they're not interested enough, or the economy isn't good enough, or it's in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's so much to learn about what, when, where. So talk about when, talk about where to offer these things that you want to offer if you want to start your own business. You have to really understand what's out there right now and what's being offered right now. So that's your market research component. And there's a lot that you can go on YouTube and Google how to do market research, and you will find a list this long of videos. I'll extend my arms further, but I think it's off camera. So this long videos about how to do market research. And there's people selling things out there about how to do market research. Don't buy anything, okay? There's plenty of free material at the moment. You don't have to buy anything that you see out there. There's lots of free information. And the third thing that you need to do is figure out how you are going to make yourself unique in that market. So maybe there are other people teaching art in your neighborhood, so you need to figure out what's going to be your uniqueness that you bring. And this is great because it's not only a business thing, but it's a personal thing, right? So the business part is that you go out and you stand out from other people. And you know why people want to go to your art class instead of somebody else's art class. Not that you have to, run somebody else out of business, but you stand out. You're not offering exactly the same thing in some way. But it's a wonderful opportunity on the personal side to explore yourself. So you really want to look into your heart. Like, what is my uniqueness? What is the beauty that I bring to this teaching art to kids place? What is the very, very, very specific, unique thing that only I can bring to the world in order to in these art classes, or of course in whatever it is that you're offering. So that's the third thing you need to do. And then from there, you really have to get into the nitty-gritty of businesses. So budgeting and planning and figuring out pricing and marketing. It's a big world. I'm not going to underestimate it. I'm not going to play it down. It is overwhelming because there's a lot of unknown. And if you break it down to that list, then you study and you learn. And you have to do it patiently. And maybe you have to work at your job for another 2 years while you build it. You're not going to be the first person who did that either, right? Some of the most successful people on the planet worked their day job while they built their business in their garage and learned how to do it from scratch. So any entrepreneur will tell you that you have to do everything, even the things that you don't like, especially at first. When you're building a business, and then as you grow, you hire people to do the things that you don't like to do and that you're not that great at, and then they help you improve. That's kind of the process, and hopefully it takes a little bit out of the overwhelm, knowing that you can learn all of those steps in building a business, and knowing that it is absolutely possible, though it takes persistence and time and determination. The fear and the doubt, well, hey, again, like from the beginning of time, right? Nobody's ever made a change in their life without feeling afraid or without doubting, or without, and doubt is basically another word for fear of failure, right? So you doubt you're going to succeed. You doubt yourself that you're good enough. So the fear and the doubt are what basically, sorry, I hear my daughter calling me. So the fear and the doubt are what you simply have to read through. and the intellectual knowledge that you gain by learning how to build a business will counteract that. And knowing that fear and doubt is simply the organism's response to change, you know, and need for security. Just think of it that way. When fear and doubt come up, it's the organism's, the body's need for stability and security. If you really need to counteract it, you can say, well, you know, I have a job, but hey, people get fired all the time, businesses close. You know, it's not like you have stability and security there either. Although we like to think it, because it's been there for a while. You know, there's the appearance of security and safety there. So starting your own business, you know, if you do it wisely, you will be able to have the same stability and security there. Again, if you do it wisely. So I hope that helps get you started at least. Any of you who want to build a passion-based business, like I said, there's a lot to learn, but if you learn it, then you will do it. If you don't go out there and start learning, then you won't do it. But I promise you that you are able to. I promise you that if you follow the steps that I outlined a little earlier, you know, listing your dream, you know, niching down, being really specific about 5 to 10 things that you could do for a living that are meaningful to you, and then doing some research, finding out if that's wanted anywhere, what people are charging for it right now. And a word about that is, if you find out that a lot of people are doing that and a lot of people are buying that, that's actually a good thing. It's counterintuitive, but that means there's a lot of people out there doing it. That means there's a demand for it. That means people are paying for it. So that's a good thing. You just have to figure out that third thing, which is how you bring your uniqueness to what you're offering and therefore stand out from everybody else, or really just not necessarily stand out, but contribute to the evolution of that field. Really is like how I like to look at it. Your uniqueness brings something beautiful, and it contributes to the evolution of your field and draws people. It'll draw your tribe to you to succeed in what you're doing. And then just breathe through the fear and doubt. It's always going to be there. It's the organism's fear of change. There's no reason for you to think about imaginary scenarios about the future, think about failure, about possible failures. You know, you can just as well think about your current life and think about all the devastating things that could happen right now. Neither one of them are very productive unless you, of course, are thinking about how to very practically protect yourself in some way. Okay. Any questions? I would love them. I would love to answer them, and I would love to hear about any businesses that you're starting, or if you've done it already, then I would love to hear you encourage other people. I would love to see that happen as well. Thank you. Many blessings. Good night.